Hi guys, sorry for the delay. We had some technical issues. So it's our regular EMA on Fridays. So let's get down to business. We have some main things going on in Waze ecosystem. So let's just not waste time and we'll do it the way we usually do. So I'll start answering your questions by the team.
So it's our regular
and then I will
Friday.
reply
So
to some
let's get
questions
down to
from the
business.
chat. So let's get down to business. Yeah, so basically, many things happened today. First, the first question, what is the situation with adaptive vesting on Virus? It's on, we turned it on like an hour ago. So thank you guys for your patience, but it's working now. So now you can withdraw up to 100K per day. This amount can be increased, and I hope it will be increased pretty soon. So it's adaptive vesting. If the peg holds, the peg is USDN price. If it's close to $1, you're able to withdraw more. If it goes down, the vesting is stopped until the peg is restored. So the limit now is 100K. It's not so much actually, but it will be increased based on performance. And actually some other parameters can be tweaked. So if there is some like bumps, so please be patient because it's very hard to make this like process perfect, like from the beginning. So probably we would need some tweaks, maybe to tweak some parameters, maybe to fight some bots, but we are on it and it will be resolved actually. So it started today, so this is great news. Once again, thank you for your patience, guys. Our apologies that we couldn't do it before, but now it's working. Next question, and it's kind of a similar question. What's the situation with the IDEO on WX? So people are asking whether they can withdraw their USDN from IDEO, because there was this rule when you can choose if you want to withdraw WX or USDN. And we have to stop USDN withdrawals because we wanted to make sure that the peg holds. So now we resume that. We created some like WX team has created some similar setup to Virus setup. So this is some kind of like adaptive vesting. And based on that setup, you will be able to withdraw your USDN actually. So now you can do that now. If USDN goes down, I guess, as far as I remember, 95 cents, the vesting is stopped until the price is higher than that. So it's working. Once again, apologies, we have to do that, but now it's okay. And the next question, is there a roadmap or current news about the WX token? As you know, it will be very little more than 1 year since IDEO took place. Yes, actually. And today, there is a great event for Waze Exchange. They have relaunched, basically, in new branding. So Waze Exchange is becoming WX network. And it should actually highlight the fact that it's not an exchange, it's a decentralized exchange. It's more of a network. So it's not like a centralized exchange. It doesn't pretend to be some kind of like Binance, and it doesn't want to be a Binance or any other exchange. So the goal is to create a network where you can do with tokens anything you can do with them in principle. So you can issue them, you can create your pool for your token, you can get your people to verify your token, you can even get your community to vote for WX inflation to your token pool. So basically it's a full token platform and nobody has it. I think Waze is the only blockchain that has something similar currently. And it's very simple to create your own token, for example. And as a part of this like promotional campaign dedicated to the rebranding, there's going to be some contest where people will be like incentivized to create their own tokens. it will be announced soon, because we want to make sure that you understand that it's not like a centralized exchange. You can't issue your own token on a centralized exchange. And on basic exchange, you can do it in a couple of clicks. So it's very different. It's not an exchange, it's a network, it's a blockchain. So we just want to make sure that everybody understands that. That's why basic exchange has done this rebranding, becoming WX.network. As for the WX token, what's going to happen to it? Once the IDEO is over, because as you know, IDEO has taken 1 year basically. And so the process of WX claims, when people were able to claim WX token from the IDEO, will be over in 2 weeks, I guess, approximately. And after that, I think we will tweak the tokenomics of WX because it was based on some ideas. In my opinion, that wasn't our ideas, actually. So that was like the ideas from mostly Ethereum community. And I think we should stick to our own ideas. So we will tweak the tokenomics of WX based on our own approach, based on the approach that I see more attractive and more like sustainable. Probably there's going to be less inflation, obviously, because WX from the IDEO will be claimed. And there's going to be certain other tweaks that will incentivize people to bring more liquidity to WX pools. So stay tuned. IDEO vesting will be over, I guess, around like the 20th of November, so it's pretty soon. And please check the new WX network because it's awesome. Next question. Excited about Wave's new roadmap for 2023. Can you give us some ideas of what it will include? So I won't give you all the details because we're working on it, and there's going to be some amazing things that it's probably a little bit too early to reveal because we need some preparation for those announcements. But like I can give you like a high-level description what we'll be doing next year. So we'll be focusing on the governance, and we really want to create some new models of governance in crypto and beyond. So that's why we are launching PowerDAO. This is like a new model of governance that combines some ideas from like a real world, and it's like doable only using blockchain technology. So it's somewhere in between the real world governance and blockchain governance. And I think it's very important because as you probably understand, we have so many issues with the governance now. And in my opinion, what is happening in the world now is really actually connected to the fact that our old governance models stopped working. So we need some new approaches here, and blockchain can help. Another thing that we will be working on, because this is like the foundation of everything we do, is the Waves blockchain itself. So definitely there's going to be Waves 2.0 or new Waves. I like this name better. And it will provide some kind of like technical footing for everything we do. This is like a layer 1 chain. There's going to be also L2 solutions that we will be working on, and it's very important for us to create a network which is decentralized, really decentralized, but fast at the same time. So there is some like sweet spot between decentralization and speed, and we just want to find it because you have some networks that are pretty fast now, but they're not decentralized. And we really want to make sure that we are able to maybe replicate some features of those faster networks, but at the same time, keeping the decentralization intact. This is our goal. Also, of course, we'll be working on our USDN and maybe I can give you some taste of what's coming. Actually, USDN will become a people's stablecoin. The community will be involved in the governance process much more than it is now, actually. And we have some ideas that will combine the approaches from like centralized stablecoins with the algorithmic stablecoins. So basically, we will be trying to create some kind of like decentralized central bank, which you can be a part of. And you will decide, for example, what will happen to neutrino treasury. So if neutrino treasury like exceeds the market capitalization of neutrino itself, you will be able to distribute some profits to the community. So this announcement is coming soon, so I won't give you more details. So let's just be patient a little, and it will be explained very precisely, actually, what we are trying to achieve with this. There is also some other ideas, and they're pretty futuristic. Maybe I mentioned this last May, but please have some patience because we need to prepare them well, actually, so that it doesn't look like some kind of like fantasy world, you know. So because they're pretty, you know, mind-boggling, I would say. So to summarize, we need to create a new technical layer for everything we do. This is new ways. And we will be working on new approaches to governance, including stablecoins, including DeFi as well. And to do that, we are launching the new DAO platform, which is called Power DAO. And the next question is actually about Power DAO. What the situation with Power DAO? Could you explain how it will work and what type of use cases there are for it? Yes, the Power DAO will resolve the problem of having a skin in the game. Basically, you can make decisions in DeFi, for example, if you have a token and it is staked in governance, and you basically bear no consequences for your decisions. For example, if there's some issue with the pool you voted for, it's okay, you don't lose anything, actually. So we have to change that. We have to make people have some skin in the game. So if you vote for something or if you participate in making some decisions, you must understand that you can be actually slashed, you can be punished if you make wrong decisions. And if you make right decisions that are like beneficial for the community, you will be rewarded. And it's a pretty simple setup, actually, but it hasn't been realized, you know, either in like DeFi world or crypto world or in the real world, you know. So, and I think that the real world can actually benefit from that as well, when you actually make decisions regarding some like real world events. And to do that, you use blockchain tokenomics, and you have to actually stake some tokens. And if you are successful, if you're, for example, if you're like investment fund, for example, this is a simple use case. If your investment fund makes money, you're able to actually have your cut of those profits. But if your fund loses money, actually you lose your tokens, which you have staked to be able to participate in governance. It's a very simple approach, but I think it's time to actually try it because nobody has tried it before. And this is what Power DAO is about. We are like starting the development now. There's going to be some airdrop. Stay tuned. There's not going to be any kind of like sale. There's going to be only an airdrop. So we won't give away any more details at the moment, you know, so because it has to be kept somehow like in secret so people don't understand what they have to do to receive that airdrop, because our goal is to make it like as fair and as widespread as possible. But stay tuned for more announcements. They're coming soon. Let me turn the light on. It's pretty dark here. Next question. WX is building a launchpad to help crowdfund projects in Waves Camp. How does that benefit WX users? Yes, so basically, there's going to be a cooperation between Waves Labs, our like US company. It's not our company, but the company that actually helps Waves ecosystem grow. And Waves Camp is our developer portal, and there's going to be a cooperation between Waves Exchange, Waves Labs, and Waves Camp. And Waves Lab will be helping projects to actually launch on Waves Exchange, to launch their token on Waves Exchange, and benefits for WX users are obvious: to participate in airdrops, because there is going to be token launches and users will be receiving airdrops with tokens from those projects. If you want to receive any new tokens of new launches, you will have to stake WX token. Or if you want to provide liquidity for their pools at launch, which is beneficial because you will be able to actually receive the token in exchange for your liquidity, and hopefully the token price goes up and you will be able to withdraw your token, which is like increased in value. So it can be beneficial for you, and it should be beneficial for you, because we are trying to make sure that at the beginning of this process of new launches will be like kind of centralized, because those projects will have to be vetted by Waves Labs. Eventually, it should become decentralized, but we want to make sure that we launch only decent projects with a good roadmap, with the proper tokenomics. So we want to make sure that there's not going to be any situations when people lose their funds. So to participate in all those launches, either it's an airdrop or liquidity provision, you would need to stake your WX token. So I think it will be really beneficial for WX token holders, because probably we'll be having like one launch every 2 weeks, starting from December, and hopefully more. Next question is actually about the Launchpad as well. How does the Launchpad benefit projects? So what will we be doing actually? I think it's important to focus on token launches. So it's not an IDEO, basically. We're not going to be doing any like public fundraising campaigns, because I think they're like hard to do from legal perspective. And what crypto projects have to do, they have to create a utility token. Maybe they have to receive some like seed funding prior to that. But their goal is to create some utility in their token and launch the market with it. So we'll be helping projects to launch their tokens. And Waves Labs will provide some seed funding. Maybe we will onboard some other venture funds, like decent venture funds. But the end goal is to launch decent, like good tokens on Waves. This is the goal. To launch a market, liquid market. So teams will have some like team tokens that they will be receiving investing, because there's going to be some kind of like template set up for all those projects. So it can be like flexible, but I think the main things will remain the same. So basically a team has some tokens investing, and they're like being released slowly, and they can sell a little to fund the development. So the idea is to make sure that there is no pumps and dumps. So the token price is stable, more or less. You know, it can go up, it can go down, but there is no volatility. There's as little volatility as possible. So, and we'll be focusing on that. So we're not going to be focusing on fundraising, like some kind of like secure, because any kind of fundraising is more or less security offering. And because if you don't have a token at the moment, if you just promise to launch a token soon, but you still raise money, it's a security offering. And actually, you can do that. You know, some people do that. You can do that, but you have to, you know, to comply with so many rules and regulations, and I don't think it makes sense. Next question, what's the roadmap for WX network? Another question about WX that has actually relaunched today in a new branding, which is great news actually. So the roadmap for it is to actually launch the Launchpad. First launches of new tokens, like public launches, will start happening in December, maybe a little sooner. And the next step, the next like milestone for WX network is derivatives, crypto derivatives. So they started working on them, and we will have decentralized futures on the Waves exchange, I think next spring, which is, I think, is a very natural development for DEXs and specifically for Waves exchange DEX, because technically it's very easy to like turn the setup that WX now has into an architecture for derivatives trading. It lends itself very nicely to this goal. So this is the next step. And as I said, there's going to be some tweaks to tokenomics. So yeah, great things are coming for Waves exchange. Next question is about the entire PowerDAO release date. So it's going to be launched in stages. There's going to be the Genesis DAO, or as we call it, Mother DAO launch first. There's going to be some airdrop prior to that. So we actually we are taking more time with it than I planned, because we, as you know, we had a lot of issues that we had to deal with recently, but it will happen until airdrop and Mother DAO launch should happen this year, actually. And the first child DAOs will be created, I think, at the beginning of the next year. Next question is about power as well. What would be the requirements or conditions for creating your DAO proposal? Only commitment of DAO participants, or do I have to have a certain base weight to create a DAO? Yeah, you would need to have some power tokens, obviously, because power token is going to be a very, very scarce resource. There's going to be, I guess, 1 million of them, and that's it. There's not going to be any more. And also, it has to be scarce, because it's the idea here, because you have to actually possess a very scarce resource to participate in governance. This is the idea that basically comes from crypto. Yeah, so from consensus in crypto, when you have to possess a certain limited resource to participate in blockchain consensus. The same idea works here to prevent any attacks on governance. The total voting power has to be limited. And there's going to be airdrop of power token, maybe some like 10% of the total supply will remain in treasury for incentives, but that's it. There's not going to be any new power issued in future, because this resource has to be really scarce. Next question. Could you share some insider information about the WX network? You talked about Launchpads last week, but maybe WX has some trump card in hand, like a new inalienable or revolutionary token utility. I'm not so sure about revolutionary in case of WX. Maybe we will create a new type of pools, So, for example, pools where you have to lock your liquidity for a certain period of time to get a boost, to get a profit boost, because I think there is a lot of issues with withdrawing liquidity from pools. Basically, can attempt to crash any stable coins by withdrawing liquidity in one fell swoop from curve, for example. No, so I think there has to be some sticky liquidity, and we have to incentivize that. Maybe some other ideas. So in case of WX, I think it's kind of revolutionary enough for now. So we just need to actually execute all those ideas and make sure that people use WX, because it's not so well known, unfortunately, as of now. It's a great product that could use some marketing, and this is what we'll be focusing on. It's because it's like we can build so many new projects and products, but it's good to actually have some tractions with the products we built already, because they are good. You can't say that they are bad. They're good products, and I can actually explain it to anybody. I can defend my position because they're good. They are different from maybe other approaches, but people use them. We just need to scale and maybe bring more people to them. So we should do that first, and then maybe there can be very many avenues of development for Waves network, Waves.network in future. So there can be higher level of decentralization, for example, where we'll be able to actually, because it's of course decentralized, but as you know, order matching is centralized, but settlement is decentralized. You can also decentralize order matching, which is a pretty hard problem. You can actually use L2 approaches to that. Actually, that is create a side chain that is used only by Waves network. And there can be very many other ideas, actually. But for now, it's new tokenomics, it's derivatives, it's Launchpad, it's maybe new staking products, which are simpler to use because people seem to have issues with using with exchange liquidity pools currently. So we have to simplify it, I think, to attract new liquidity. Next question. Great news that vesting is open again, but one question. The article mentions USDN price should be above 0.98 and less than 0.95. What happens in between? So it stops if the price falls below 95, and above 95 it works. This is about Waves exchange, Waves network. Yeah, guys. So basically, if it's above 95, you're able to claim your USDN, and there is just, as I said, there's just 2 weeks to go, so it's almost over. And I have to remind you, so there is less FUD and trolls in Waves network channels, that all the participants have made a lot of profits, guys. So I understand that you have to maximize your profits, but you are in profit already. And please don't tell me that you are not. Next question. Is there going to be a live tracker for Virus and WX vesting limits? And how are bots prevented from taking it all? Live tracker is not there. Probably can be created by somebody from the community because it's not allowed